So we have here the Poco F3. This is a 5G phone. This is 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of ROM, or I think it's 128. It comes with the F3 adapter, USB Type-C cable, Type-C to 3.5 headphone adapter. So this doesn't have a headphone jack. It comes with a SIM eject tool, soft case, user guide, and warranty card, and it also comes with built-in with a screen protector. Now this has a very nice thing. So it only has a 4,800 milliamp hour battery or something like that. Not the best in the world, but I guess it's good. I've seen people who said that they've gotten very good battery life out of theirs. So you get the Welcome to Poco phone family. You get this, which inside of here, you get your SIM eject tool, and then you get your stickers, warranty guide, and case, which I won't be using this case because I actually have a case specifically for this, that I bought before this phone showed up. Then you have the phone. It has a 780 5G processor, 7 nanometer up to 3.2 gigahertz, 120 hertz with about 360 hertz or 250 hertz to 240 hertz display, touch sampling at E4 AMOLED. Dual Atmos double speakers with X-axis linear motors, so it's dual speakers, the top and the bottom. It has a high-resolution 48 megapixel triple camera, which looks amazing. It has a 48, like an 8, and then a 2 megapixel or something. And then you have all the rest of this stuff. So if we pull this out, let's just get this. It's a frosted glass back, which feels very amazing. Metal sides. And then in the rest of the box, you have a 33-watt fast charger and a Type-C, which if you have ever had a Xiaomi phone with a 33-watt charging, then you would have had this charger. So I'm just going to put this back in the box. I may grab the charger later, but I already have two separate from Xiaomi itself, 33-watt chargers. So the first thing I'm going to do is, as you can see, this isn't like flushed back anymore. With this, basically, this fingerprint sensor, it is more or less flush with the device, so it doesn't concave in like my X3 Pro does. So it doesn't concave inwards. This one is just flat. It's smoothed out. So this phone, I've had it for about 2 weeks to 3 weeks at this point. And I love this phone. The problem is my complaints stem from using MIUI out of all things. So I love this phone completely. I think it's an amazing phone. It has, at least on the white variant and I believe the blue variant, it has a frosted-like back. It's frosted. It doesn't have that matte-like finish that some of these other phones have. It comes with a cheap case. It's okay, nothing special. And it came with a built-in screen protector, which I replaced with my own tempered glass one. It's great. Cameras, also great. Speakers, top and bottom, amazing. It's just one of those all-around devices that is amazing. Battery life gets me, let's just say, about 8 hours. It approximates per day, sometimes about 7.5, sometimes 8.5. But it gets me about 7 to 8 hours of battery life on a daily usage. It charges up in about 35 minutes. I've tested it, and it is about 35 minutes for that. The screen is amazing. It is a 1080p 120 hertz display with a touch sampling rate of about 360 I think is this one. It feels so fast, so fluid, and everything about it is great. It is an E4 AMOLED. Some people have said they've had issues with the AMOLED having a green tint issue. I have not had that issue yet. Now, the specs, 870 Snapdragon UFS 3.1 storage with LPDDR5X RAM, I think is what they actually called it on this one. Now, again, I love this phone. USB-C, dual speakers. It even has in one of those IR blasters. It cost me $400 for this device over here with a 8 gig of RAM, 256 gigs of ROM. Doesn't have a headphone jack. Not the biggest end of the world. Wish they did include it. SD card, also not included, but that's why I got 256 gigabytes of storage on this thing. Color, beautiful. Screen, great.
and everything about it, it's great. But you know what makes it suck? MIUI. Now, I do have a Poco X3 Pro, and that thing made me go, wow. I thought it was great. Yes, thank you, Xiaomi, for sending that one out to me for launch day. I thought it was great. The only problem with that was MIUI. I went to a custom ROM called Aero OS, the simplest one because it was also the first one, and I was beta testing it for a bit first. And it was just a great device all around because of that. Once I got Aero OS on there, it became my main device. I even got rid of the OnePlus 7T that I got. I didn't even use that as my main device anymore. So there are just some things about it that make it bad. When I'm on the lock screen, right now you won't be able to see it, but if I'm on the lock screen and I swipe down for notifications, sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. So if I get a text message from Telegram, I click on it, open it up to this lock screen here. You know what happens? Nothing. Nothing happens at all. Sometimes I get the notification and then it goes clear and then just fades away the notification and I have to swipe down. But what's the point of showing a notification that I have if my notification, like I get a notification here in the always on display. It shows up that I have Telegram, so I double click like this, and then what happens? I have to swipe down, and then it gets me my full list of my notifications because of that. The other thing is, why do you, when you open up the phone and you lock the phone again, why is the phone hiding the fact that you have notifications? I can see, right over here I have notifications. I can see in here that I have notifications. And when I go like this, I can swipe down a bit and it'll like show my list of notifications. I can see I have notifications. But why are you trying to hide them from me on the lock screen? If I unlock my phone and I lock my phone again, I still want to see these notifications. Like, I'll clear them away if I don't want them. And just don't try to hide them on me. Doing that causes apps like Telegram and a couple other apps to just hide themselves until you swipe down in the notification center to be able to see them. If I don't want a notification to show up on the lock screen, I'll go into my settings and I'll disable, in the notification setting, I'll disable show on lock screen. I did that to some apps as it is, because they're just like random apps that don't need notifications. But then why do you think that I don't want apps on the lock screen if you're going to control what apps show and what apps don't? At least they fixed it, where over time MIUI used to be, even in MIUI 10 I had this issue. You had to manually go into every single app on your phone and select show on lock screen. You couldn't just have it automatically show, you had to manually select show on lock screen. So MIUI 12.5.1 has greatly come past 10 and 11. 11 was okay, and then 12 just added some cool features. So it's good. Like, I think it should be good, but if they're running MIUI on here, I've had alarm clocks that have went off, and then I press the snooze, and I don't hear them the second time. And then the next day I do the same thing. I use another phone that's not running MIUI, and I put on the phone, I put the alarm on, I press snooze, and 10 minutes later the alarm goes off. This one, for some reason, I press the snooze button. I know I'm pressing the snooze button, and the phone magically just doesn't ring the second time. Wow. Some things are just pretty bad about this phone that I would love for them to fix. So, enough negatives about this phone and MIUI. Can I just go around the phone and display its beauty? Now, on the top of the phone, it has a speaker and an IR blaster and a microphone port, so you get all of that stuff you need. On the bottom, it has a speaker, microphone, USB-C, and a dual SIM card tray, no SD card. On the right side, you got your power button with fingerprint, which is a very nice, like, rounded edge, and then you got your volume up and down. And then on the left side, you got nothing at all. On the back, you've got a logo, some regulatory IDs, because I think that's required, and you got your cameras. It's a 48 megapixel, an 8 megapixel, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. On the front of the phone, you got a 20 megapixel front-facing camera. It's a hole punch notch, so if I go out of this and go home, you can see it's hole punch. And then it has a 1080p 6.7-inch 1080p display with a 120 hertz refresh rate with a 360 hertz touch sampling rate. So, and it comes with Corning Gorilla Glass 6 on the front, and it comes with Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and 5 on the back, and it's all around amazing. It has 5G. I have yet to be able to test 5G out, but I've been told by a couple other people that it is good 5G. It works. It's great. So there's nothing to complain about there. Now the cameras on this, as I mentioned, 48 megapixel. It takes a picture in about 12 or something megapixels, if I'm not mistaken, but the quality of the cameras there, the video is amazing. So I'm just going to throw up some camera samples here, and you'll be able to see for yourself how it is. Filmed at 4K 30. Just check out this and the wind reduction. If you can still hear me, good for you for the loud bike. This is a bit bumpy here, so we'll look. And there we go. That's the test. Now the speakers, as I said, were very good. So I'm gonna load up some music here, and you can hear what it sounds like. Now the speaker on that is great. It runs Dolby Audio. It even has a setting. If I go in here into the settings to sound and vibration over to sound effects, you get a Dolby Atmos setting. It's great, and I actually like that it shows Dolby Atmos on this phone. It works well. and there's no distortion at high volumes with this thing. And compared to my 7T, iPhone 10, iPhone 7, and a couple other front-facing speakerphones that I've heard, including the S10 and S20. There's a bunch of phones that I've heard. This phone sounds amazing. Like, it's actually one that I love to use. It sounds better than my X3 Pro, and that's not saying much because this is tuned differently than that one. This is Dolby Audio. That one's just a standard dual speaker setup that everybody uses. But I think this one sounds amazing. No distortion at high volumes. I can go really loud, and it gets very loud. And all around, it has a great feel to it. It has a great sound to it. It just such a great sound. Now, gaming performance on this thing is also amazing. I can get 90 hertz on most of these games to up to sometimes 120, depending on how my graphics settings. But I play COD Mobile on this thing. I play PUBG. I've tried Asphalt and a bunch of other games, and they've all have run at the recommended settings. So it has a great performance there if you want a phone that's good for gaming and all around. All in all, this phone is amazing. It has great cameras, great sound, great battery. It sounds like a normal phone when someone's talking to you, so it's not like you're going onto the phone in MIUI and you're going, "Hey, how's it going?" And they're like, "What? What'd you just say?" No, it works. It's just all around, this phone, if you're looking for a good phone with no wireless charging, sadly, but that's to be expected at $350 and $400 to $400. But all around, all in all, this phone's great. I would recommend this to a friend, and I think that if you're looking for a good phone, if you're looking at a review for this F3, that means you're interested in buying it. You know what that means? Just go ahead and buy it. Link will be down below in the description for the phone. I will throw down below the case that I bought for this phone, so that's amazing. And all in all, recommended. 10 out of 10 recommended. So if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what you like about this phone, and if you don't like this phone for some reason. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.